How's it going, people, and welcome back to the Supporters Club, my new show on AFTV. We're going to discuss Liverpool at home this weekend, our next big test, our biggest test since the first two games of the week, to be honest. Today I've got with me Lee, Troopz and Graham, friends of mine, AFTV regulars. I'm going to start with Graham today. How do you see the Liverpool game this weekend?
Well, it's a massive test, Turkish. I think that's the first thing to say. Obviously, this is going to be a real test of where we are as a club. I mean, we've seen this game coming over the horizon. And one thing we need to do, which we can't do, is start this game the way we've been starting certain games, certainly recently. The last big game we played against Chelsea, we were 2 down very early, very open, very unstructured. So we need to start in a disciplined way. And I think it'd be very interesting to see how Emery sets up at the weekend. He's obviously a video king. He would have watched how Liverpool play. We know they're a pressing team. The midfielders press and they try and get it to their forwards very quickly. And I think we're going to have to play a certain way against Liverpool to try and get a result out of this game. What I want to see from the players, I want to see real belief and passion. And I can remember about a year ago we played Tottenham Hotspur, and at that time that was under Wenger, and we bullied them that day all over the pitch. And our midfielders got in their faces. And I think also we need to sort of find a way to get Mesut Ozil on the ball. I think one thing we need to do is we need to get players in the right positions. We've been playing very disjointedly at the moment, and one of the reasons for that is he's playing a lot of players out of position, obviously due to injuries. So obviously I'll be hoping this weekend, Turkish, that we got a lot of our players back. We're waiting on Bellerin.
Fullbacks especially.
The fullbacks, Turkish, as you said, are key this week, particularly against Liverpool. We can't have Xhaka against left back.
No.
I've looked at a couple of games where Liverpool got exposed. I mentioned on the same old Arsenal with Lee and with Robbie in the show I did last week, the way Napoli nullified Liverpool. And I looked at the way Chelsea beat them a year ago in a 3-5-2 shape. So I think one thing we need to do with Liverpool, we've got to have runners, but we need to sort of like get them running backwards. Right? I think that is key in this game. If we allow them to dictate the play, we'll be in trouble. But I think the key for us is to get Ozil on the ball. And I think we need to find a structure and a system, get Ozil to shape the game. I think we need to be compact out of possession, to keep the distances small. And one of the things that helped this week, I think if we can get that Xhaka-Torreira partnership back together, because I think when they're together, they're better, they positionally understand where they need to be. And I think, to me, I know Emery's going to play a 4-2-3-1, and do you know what, I'm a bit concerned about that. I would play a 4-4-2.
I agree.
I think what I would like to see Lacazette and Aubameyang together in a 2. And I think if you've got Lacazette and Aubameyang down the middle, I can see their centre-half stepping back 10 yards, you know, because they want to push up. But if they've got someone like Aubameyang down the centre who can spin in behind, I think they'll want to sit back more. That's for me, key. And I think you're trying to build partnerships all over the pitch, right, and get relationships. And that Ozil, for me, didn't have that against Palace because he didn't have the fullbacks who could get forward. No. So I think getting the fullbacks fit for this weekend is key. And if we could play either in a 4-2-3-1, at least we have Bellerin going forward on one side, and maybe Monreal, Kolasinac. I think Kolasinac and Bellerin I see as wing-backs. So to me, against Liverpool, Napoli beat them in a 4-4-2, and they were very clever, very cute. What Ancelotti did that night was he basically played a system where they dropped into a 3 at the back when they were in possession, and the two central midfielders sat. So it was like a 5 out of possession when they lost the ball. So he was very clever, and they didn't press from the front. I think we've got to be very weary the way we play out from the back because they're going to press from the front. I think we need to think about our exit strategies. I think we need to go out maybe wide left and then maybe into midfield, and certainly not sort of play it around at the back because I think they'll catch us. And I think maybe we need to have probably someone with a bit of pace on Mo Salah. So I think the thing is we need to sort of like find a way of nullifying their strengths, but I think also we need to sort of like make our statement in the game by sort of pushing them back, finding runners who can push them back. Once we push them back, put them into areas of the pitch they don't want to be. I think if we can do that, then maybe that sort of stops them from playing to their strengths. And I think if we can sort of get them maybe frustrated, then they start hitting long balls out towards Salah. They look to get it quickly into Salah and Mane and Firmino. But I think that if we don't let them get it into midfield and we get their centre-backs, we don't press them too high, but we let them sort of like play it around the back and they can't get it into midfield and they play it long, maybe we can frustrate them if they don't find their runners. So that to me is key. But I would go with a 4-4-2 system or a 3-5-2. But I know Emery's going to go a 4-2-3-1 Turkish.
Yeah, well, to be honest, you made a fair few good points there. I wanted the first point you made about the first half. I know you mentioned Chelsea game. We haven't taken the lead into halftime in any game this season, in the Premiership. So if we do this against Liverpool, if we start slow against Liverpool, it's going to be a problem. So why do you not think that is, Lee? Why do you think we've been starting slow in games?
I just think it's the way that I think there's a little bit of like they try to grind the team down. I was watching even like yesterday's game against Blackpool. They was just knocking the ball about, and when you haven't got the ball, when you're out of possession, you're working. It tires the team down, you know. So I think physically they try and tire the team down, and in the second half go for it. But you know, I'm with you on that. Like if they don't produce, they've got to produce. What they've not done over the course of the season is perform in both halves. You know, they've done it for 20-minute spells. You know, a fantastic 20-minute spell against Leicester a few weeks ago, and it blew everybody's mind. When you look back on it, it was fantastic. But there were definite faults in that first half. You know, my biggest worry for it is you can go tactics, you can go whatever system you want. If you don't defend properly, you're going to be in trouble. And I don't think we've defended properly enough all season. You know, I look back at the Leicester game. It was great that we won that, but we conceded 3 or 4 chances against them. If we concede 3 or 4 chances in the first half against Liverpool, then
we're in trouble.
We're in trouble because we then go into their hands when they can drop back, and then hit us on the counter attack. And we're going to play. Our weaknesses will be their strengths, so we've got to be really careful. I think we've got to be a little bit cautious going into this game. Yeah. Because I think when we played Chelsea, we wasn't really cautious looking into that. But in saying that, flip that on the other side, we are at home, and I think that we've got to take the initiative to a certain degree. I think, you know, it's all brilliant about systems and who we're playing here, but it's all about the individuals have got to turn up. You know, if Lacazette is not on his game, then we've got problems because his hold-up play last week wasn't good enough, and what that done was then the ball just keeps coming back and then puts us under a lot of pressure. So he's got to be on his game, and I think the key areas at this moment in time are the wide areas. At this moment in time, we don't know if the fullbacks are going to be fit. Yeah. So then it's realistic, if the fullbacks ain't going to be fit, where are we going to get our width? Because the fullbacks, you know, if it is, say, Xhaka, he's not going to bomb forward. So we've then got to look for our wide players. So that then becomes Iwobi becomes a bigger player, you know, or does a Aubameyang play? These are the key decisions that Emery's got to make. Yeah, definitely, because at the end, like you said, we have to plan for Liverpool. We can't just go in there playing our normal football. Well, I think that's the one thing I like about Emery. That I do think that we are looking at game by game management and looking to play teams at what they are. You know, like under Arsene Wenger as well. This is the team. Let's just go out and play. I do feel that there is a slight different structure to the team, the way it's set up. You know, this could be a game again. You know, I know that he played yesterday, Welbeck, but this would be a game that I'd like to see him come in, wear down the back four. For somebody else to come on in the last 20-25 minutes. So I think there's not going to be just, I can see it hopefully being like the last 25 minutes, the game will open up and hopefully in our favour. But we've got to be in the game after 75 minutes. No, definitely. And going back to another point Graham made, I'm going to go to you, Troopz. Do you go 2 up front, Oba and Laka, or do you keep to what Emery's been doing so far?
I'd stick with how it is. I think you need the pace on the wing.
That's a shock though. I thought you would have said you want both of them up front.
Nah, man, because it's Liverpool, innit? You understand? So you don't want to go all guns and then get caught.
I hear that. But you see what my thing is, if we start 2 strikers, Klopp won't expect that. So an hour before the game, if our team sheet shows 2 strikers, I'm sure he's not planning for us to play 2. It will throw a spanner in the works in a sense with an hour left for kickoff, and it will give Van Dijk and whoever his partner will be maybe some thought, something to think about now, rather than the usual one up top.
But they got quick fullbacks, that's the thing as well. You understand? They got Gomez, they got Trent, they got Robertson. You understand? Yeah. So us putting 2 up there, I don't think it will really affect them because they've got the cover there. You get me? They got Cater as well, just in front. He's quick, dynamic. It's going to be between him and Torreira to win the midfield.
And Fabinho's played more recently.
Fabinho's kind of, he stepped it up now. You get me? Because he never really got in the team at the start. No. But now he's coming into his own.
I think the first half hour, as we say, as Lee says, and Troopz has touched on, is going to be key. The first half hour, we need to stay in the game. I think that when you look at the Emery side, there's the consistencies of his selections are there's always 2 DMs. That's a massive change from Arsene Wenger. Now, when we played Liverpool at the Emirates last year, we just had Xhaka, who's just a deep line playmaker, but he was the 1 DM. We were incredibly open, and we went 2 down, and we pulled it back to 3-2. And then we ended up drawing 3-3. But the consistency of his team are the 2 DMs, the 2 fullbacks who bomb on, and then he's got the 2 wide players who like to come inside that create the space for the fullbacks to come on.
Yeah.
So that's his consistency of his team, and I think he's going to look to play that again. I know he's going to study Liverpool and find a way to sort of like nullify their strengths, but I think he likes that system. That's the way. And so the fullbacks, as we've touched on, Bellerin and Monreal being fit, Turkish, is key here.
Yeah, because Trent and Robertson, they both got a few assists this season. Like you said, that's the way they play. And we've had issues with width all season. Mickey doesn't track back and help Bellerin, or now we've got injuries at fullback position. So
like Xhaka can't play left back, blood.
He
because
can't.
Like I'm saying like he can't even because Guendouzi's suspended for the game.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you're gonna
yeah.
put in the middle with Torreira, fam. Oh, and then he's injured.
Has to be him.
I'm not putting Ramsey. Sorry, Gaffer.
Well, I think
I'm not putting Ramsey, blood. You understand? For me, Ramsey, Mickey have been absolute poor, blood. You
I
understand?
agree.
They've been missing in recent weeks, and I think the contract situation is maybe playing on Ramsey. I think Mickey's got no confidence. And we were saying before that, I think he's clocked that you're not going to get what you want in this team.
Exactly.
You understand? Like, he's a hard worker, but like, there's been no end product there.
Yeah.
You get me? And like, for me, like Graham touched on it, the fullback situation is we need it, fam. You
peak.
understand? If them man there's not fit, like Kolasinac and Monreal, I'd go with, I don't know, man, maybe Maitland-Niles left back.
That's
Yeah,
the one
that's
I was
what
going to
I'm
say.
saying,
A bit of pace,
Yeah,
some
because
physical.
understand that the pace, he's on point, but the pace, fam, you understand? Salah will see that, start rubbing his hands and think, yeah, boy.
Yeah.
And we can't give them, man, little, like,
One-
one up on, man.
one thing Chelsea did really well last year, they moved Rudiger out to
the right
out.
side.
He's a very pacey defender, and they moved him out, and he literally marked Salah out the game.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if Emery's got anything. He will be looking at Salah and seeing him as a key player, so it'd be interesting to see how he looks at that and what he decides to do. I think there was a real statement last night in the team. When you look at the Emery teams now, because obviously we're one squad, but when he like Cech, Ramsey, Mkhitaryan starting last night is a clear statement to me they won't be playing this weekend.
Yeah.
Mustafi worries me as a centre half. He stresses me out.
He worries everyone.
He's
I
got a
think.
mistake in him.
Suspect.
He does, yeah, and I do think that ultimately he will be replaced. I just don't think he's that commanding centre half. The one thing Liverpool have got from this year they didn't have last year is that they've, as Lee says when I was talking to him before we came in here, they've invested in the team. They've now got a quality centre back, a £75 million centre back, and a £75 million goalkeeper. Now you could argue about whether you rate him as a goalkeeper, but that sends a real statement to the defence that we've got a top goalkeeper in now worth a lot of money, and they're more confident as a result of that. Whereas at the moment, our defence, we are giving up so many chances through errors. I do think what Troopz was saying, I think Xhaka will come next to Torreira. I think they are the better partnership. As I said earlier, I think that helps Ozil. You need to get Ozil on the ball. Now, Ozil, with them pressing, you do worry about whether he's going to be able to sort of like operate the way he does in a game where their midfield is going to be pressing onto him. But the one thing Torreira and Xhaka do is that they are positionally good and they give him the ball. I mean, Cazorla-Ozil used to be a massive partnership in sort of like passing stats from Cazorla through to Ozil. And I think Torreira and Xhaka, particularly Xhaka-Ozil now is a very high passing percentage. So Xhaka back in there is key to me, basically in a 2 in front of the back 4 to keep it tight, to keep it structured, to play into Ozil. Now they're obviously going to want to press him up high. The question is, can Ozil sort of find the space to create the partnerships across the pitch?
Yeah.
But he does need fullbacks making runs, and he needs those wide forwards coming inside. I think Liverpool really wouldn't like Aubameyang down the centre. I do think that. I do think that out wide, we've got an elite forward, and we're playing out wide, and I don't think, as good as he is, and he's scoring goals and he's drifting in, I think he'd be better centrally. Now, there's an argument that Laka's sort of like been off form the last few games, Turkish, but I would like to see them both together. They've got a tremendous understanding, a partnership, and I think that we haven't really tested it.
We need to utilise the
We
relationship
need to utilise
they
our
have.
strengths, don't we? They are goal scorers. You want your goal scorers on the pitch, and I just feel we're wasting opportunity here.
You don't often see 2 strikers have the relationship they have at any club.
Not in present day football, no. But you know that's the thing that changes. I think at the moment, like just looking at it, we have got a massive problem because you know we don't know who's going to be playing at the full-back position. I was just thinking about what we were just saying there, that if Xhaka does have to play there, maybe Maitland-Niles could be the one to come in as the next midfield player, you know, because he's defensive sort of minded.
What would you prefer, Xhaka left or in the middle, or Niles in the middle? And
Sub? Listen, I think if one of the left backs is available, then they've got to come in, and I would put Xhaka into the midfield because, you know, he's probably the best of what we've got.
Yeah.
You know, so I would go that. But my worry is that if Kolasinac and Monreal not fit, then we're going to have to put Xhaka in there. Now, if we do put Xhaka in there, with Guendouzi getting suspended this week, does put us in a bit of a problem. Definitely. And you know, we're talking then Ramsey or Maitland-Niles, and I think, you know, as much as I like Ramsey, I think that we've got to keep it tight. Yep. And it may be Maitland-Niles coming in there, but you know, I don't think Jenkins going to play left back, if I'll be honest. So, you know, it is a real difficult one, because then if you could, you know, as we say, like put Maitland-Niles back there, it could be an option. I think it's a massive. I think that the game will be a very, very key at 4:30 when we've seen that team sheet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it'd be a key moment in there, and I think either our confidence levels will be very, very high, or no,
or they're shot,
or they're going to be shot. You know what I mean? And that to me is the key thing now.
Well, you and Graham both mentioned the word keeping it tight and structured. So let me go back to Troopz. Who would you start as a centre-back pairing this weekend?
Socrates Holding.
I thought that'd be your answer.
Yeah, Robbie's even trying to copy me now, you get me?
Well, was he saying the same thing, yeah?
Yeah, fam, when we went to Palace, he was saying, no, Mustafi and Socrates are the pair that we should be playing. I said, nah, my guy. Mustafi's still suspect FC blood, you understand? And we saw it at Palace, give away the penalty, you understand? And Socrates is a man that he's got experience, you get me? Yeah, he did the little mad thing in Sporting Lisbon away. Yeah. But you see, Socrates, he's not allowing the man to come near the box. Yeah. He's taking man down before. That's what he's supposed to do. If you're going to take out the man, you take him out before he gets in the box. Yeah. You don't clot him in the box. You're giving the referee the decision to make, you understand? So you have to go. Holding's been the form centre-back, you understand? He's really adapted to the playing out the back as well. If you clock the thing, more time Leno goes first Holding. Yeah. Holding's the one that he pulls away and he's like, all right, Holding will start off the play, you understand? And
I don't want to see us playing out too much around the back, though. Not with them pressing up high.
No, but you know what?
I think with Troopz, we've got to think about our exit strategy. I think we're going to have to look maybe to sort of like play it slightly longer out. I don't think we can play it around the back. Holding does fit the, as you said, you're quite right. You said Holding fits his style of play. Socrates is a proper defender. We talked about Wenger teams not being very physical, you know, and he's added that physicality at centre half through the spine of the team with Xhaka and with Socrates. Socrates is a proper defender. Yeah. And he's grown on me. I must admit, when I first saw him, I was a bit worried, but he was our best defender before he got injured, Turkish. I
agree.
And I think Troopz is right. I think he needs to play tomorrow.
So
could Mustafi play right back? You know,
I think he is a fullback, Lee. I think he plays like a fullback, the way he slides in. He's got a tendency to go to ground. He's almost like a fullback, isn't he?
Yeah, we could look to...
You know, then we just eliminate.
And then he's out of the way from the box, isn't he? Like, you know what I mean? So like,
we eliminate the attacking threat. Then.
You know, so
because we need our fullbacks to fly up. Mustafi can fly up though. Still,
he can.
He's made it like Socrates. Sometimes he makes that burst from the back. He sees a gap, he's going for it. Yeah. I see Mustafi trying to copy him now. Still, you understand? So, and when he was in that German team, they had him at right back.
The other thing that worries me, Turkish, is the way we're defending set plays at the moment. You saw it the other night against Blackpool. You saw it against Palace. We're just not very good at. I don't know what you think, Troopz.
I think the Blackpool game, I don't really look into it because the defence was a bit like makeshift, innit? You understand? You had the young buck from the under-23s. I think he done well still.
He played well.
But like the Palace game, there was no Socrates in it. He's a man that can command the box. Me and Robbie was saying at the Lisbon game, we feel comfortable at set pieces now because. There was a time, remember them day there when the ball's coming in the box, you're shitting it. Yeah. You understand? Set pieces.
Every cross.
That was his last game though. Was that his last game though, Lisbon?
Yeah, Socrates' last game.
So he didn't play at Palace, did he?
Yeah, so
he didn't play. Is he carrying, you know what I mean?
I think he's ready. I think he wants him for Liverpool.
But we didn't.
Because you need him.
We didn't defend the set piece very well that led to Palace's penalty when Mustafi inexplicably dived in. I don't know what he was thinking. And last night Mustafi again proved he's not that commanding centre half. When that ball was floated into the box, he didn't mark the man. And if you don't mark the man, you've got to get the ball. And he didn't do either, did he? So is he the answer at centre half?
Well, I'll agree with what you said. Socrates and Holding would actually be my choice.
Because Socrates is like the power, and then Holding, he's not as slow.
They complement each other better than
that's the thing.
Socrates and Mustafi do. Mustafi is like a a B-Tech Socrates right now.
Yeah,
that's how I look at
B-Tech,
them.
fam, Z-Tech.
Yeah, wherever it is, he's in the same mould as,
Yeah,
as Socrates. You know what I mean? So
the other problem, Turkish, we haven't got a left-sided centre back at the moment. If you look at Socrates, Mustafi, Holding, they all really are right-sided players. Koscielny is that left-sided balance that we lack, and he's injured at the moment. I do think we need an upgrade, and
I wouldn't bring him back.
It's been disappointing that we've had these games, and I'm not going to say his full name, but that definitely Mev. You know, like the young
Mavropanos.
Mavropanos.
Thank you. You know what I mean? Like,
Konstantinos.
Well, I'm impressed, Troopz, for that. He impressed me, and I think it would have been good for him to have played these last few games, whether it be Europa League or. So hopefully he'll come back in the next week or so. I think he's back in training now, and I think he would have been a good.
He's left-sided, isn't he?
He's left-sided as well,
Yeah.
but obviously this game's too close for him.
Yeah.
Like,
the potential's there, definitely.
But because he does win a lot of balls in the air, which is something that we don't do.
saw
I
what he
don't
did
think
to the
like
party.
winning balls in the air is such an important against Liverpool because they've not really got big guys. You know, like
Van Dijk from set plays.
set plays is a different thing. Well, you know what I mean, different thing. So
When they're coming at us,
when they're coming all at the floor and it. So we've got to be a
Chase.
little bit mobile, and maybe I'm going to shoot myself here. Like Mustafi would probably be the more to have because he does move around the
He's a
ground
bit mobile,
a bit
isn't
more
he?
mobile.
Compared to Holding,
So
a bit more, yeah.
I'm I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to have Mustafi in there at some point. And
You just know he's going
I've got a little feeling.
Would you go free if you put Mustafi at the back then?
Well, not against. I'd like him to go
Holding
through.
Socrates, thing, and then you got
Mustafi,
Maitland
I'd like to go
and-
there. I'd like
Do you know
to go that way.
the
but-
formation? I was talking to Lee before we come in here. I mean, I like that Napoli 4-4-2. I'd love to see us play 4-4-2 with a midfield diamond 4.
Yeah.
But Chelsea played a 3-5-2. Now, we could play a 3-5-2. We could play the three centre halves, Mustafi on the right, Socrates in the middle, and Holding, and Kolasinac and Monreal as a left wing back, and Bellerin or Lichtsteiner as a wing back. Then we could play Torreira and Xhaka Holding with Ozil forward in the 3, and then Lacazette and Aubameyang close together. Then that sort of like is quite good structured out of possession, but also gives us options going forward. Where Ozil can find his runners and create partnerships across the pitch. And then they got to worry about the pace of Aubameyang playing off Laka. Laka could come short, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Could come out, receive the ball. It's like Firmino plays that false 9 role where he comes out and receives the ball. Laka can do that, and Aubameyang can spin in behind. You know, he could pull a defender out. So I think a 3-5-2 would be a great formation against Liverpool with those wing backs.
To be honest, I was just about to say exactly what you've said. If it was me, I'd go in and try and shock Liverpool by doing two up front, the 5 at the back.
I think Lee made a great point when I was talking to him in the week, and that is that with Wenger, we always knew what the team was, Lee, didn't we?
Yeah.
We always knew how it was set up. Emery,
Yep.
you don't quite know, do you?
Yeah, and he's a tactician, Emery. His attention to detail.
Well, I
is-
think that's a good. Every manager come up against Arsenal in the past, you weren't really worried about the team sheet because you knew exactly how they was going to play, whatever. But I'd imagine on Saturday at 4:30, Klopp will be looking at that. Oh, look, let's have because he's not going to be 100% sure who's playing, and they may look to change things accordingly. You know, I think that Liverpool are in a position where they're a little bit more like, well, this is our team, we're going to go for it, whatever. This is blah blah blah. I think that they feel confident that they can beat us playing their way. So maybe Emery will have to come up with a little bit of a game plan, a little something different, and it may well be the back 3 or something like that. Listen, if it comes up at 4:30 and there's a back 3, I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose.
That's what I was
going to
gonna
think.
ask
Well,
next.
let's have a go.
I'm going to ask all 3 of this question. Let's say Emery comes in with a new formation, new plan, and there is 2 up top, but we get spanked. And looking at Paul Merson's comments about we're due a spanking the way we start games. How do you? First and foremost, let me start with Troopz. How do you see Paul Merson's comments? And if it does happen, do you blame
Merson.
Emery?
Fuck Merson.
You're looking at me for like, you know what I mean?
Because I know he's like your kind of.
He's my guy, you know what I mean? He's my guy. you know what I
Right,
mean?
he's my guy, innit? Fuck Merson, innit? You get me? Like, I don't think. Like, if we went to 3 at the back, I can't see. No matter what Emery does, I cannot see us. I
Support
cannot
him.
see us getting pumped.
You can't see it.
Can't see it happening. Because it's not like Emery knows what he's doing. You understand? He has a plan for every game.
Yeah.
You get me? He watches the opposition. It's not like Wenger. Like when we went to Anfield and lost 4-0, United 8-2,
Yeah.
City 6-3, Chelsea 6-0. Them days, it's not. I can't see us holding that kind of beating. You understand? The Chelsea game, I think, will play a big factor because to come back 2-0 away from home, even though we lost the game, to come back 2-0 in that first half as well, blood. And we could have took the lead in that.
Yeah.
You understand? I think that will give the players a lot. But, yeah, fuck Merson. You understand?
Had to round it up.
Yeah, but fuck Merson and I just
Very
hope the
diplomatic,
boys...
that is, isn't it? Very
I hope the
diplomatic.
boys don't hang me out to dry because I'm riding out. I'm riding
So
hard.
let's go to Merson's guy Lee.
Yeah.
On the other hand,
Your guy.
Listen. You know, as a player, I thought he was a wonderful player for Arsenal. I'll get that in first of all. But by his own admission, he's not quite there. He even says that. You know, I've spoken to him personally. He says, "I'm not quite there, Lee." You know what I mean? But so from that point of view, listen, I don't think he is actually saying too much what a lot of people are thinking. I'll be honest, you know what I mean? Like I've come away from games, and if we don't sort out that defence, we're going to get pumped. If anybody has not walked out of games and not said that, I'm sure that they have. You know, he's said it. I don't buy all this stuff that he's a Chelsea fan and all that, like blah blah blah. He might well be, but I know that he's got Arsenal at heart. You know, and at the end of the day, he obviously says it a little bit more for effect.
Yeah.
But I ain't got no problem with that, like, you know what I mean, what he's saying. But if they don't sort it out, it could well happen. But from my point of view, I really want to see. From our point of view, we have got to go into a season where we've played Man City and we've lost. We've played Chelsea and we've lost.
Yeah.
We don't want to be going against Liverpool and losing, then Man United and losing, then Tottenham and all the top six. We've got to somehow get a result. And if it means changing formations and whatever and blah, 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 you know, I'll say it now, do we take a point or not? I feel that we need to win this game to really set a statement. Not just forget about challenging, but to get into the top four, we have got to beat the top six teams at home.
Yeah.
We've failed against Man City. So the Chelsea game was away. This is important for our. I think if we are to get top four, we've got to nail this performance. So it's a big game for us. And listen, if we, I don't give monkeys what anybody says. You know, if we get pumped, he'll be having a moan. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be having a moan. It's just the way fans are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But with
we've
the question,
we've got to blame someone, Turkish.
would you blame Emery?
Well, it depends if Mustafi's putting his own goal. Because if it's, you know, you're going to blame either the defender, the goalkeeper. You know, there's some key decisions. Who does he play in goal? And if he plays Leno and he messes up, people are going to turn around and say, "Oh, we should have played Czech," and vice versa. So, listen, if we get beaten and we get beaten heavily, you know what I mean, we as fans will moan. You know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily make Paul Merson right, by the way, if we do get beaten.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'll have to say that.
Because I'm in between both of your opinions. Sorry, Graham. I'm in between both of your opinions on Merson. I agree with what he's saying and where it's coming from, but I don't agree with how he said it and the way he said it. It was very derogatory. It was very negative at a time when us Arsenal fans have just found positivity again.
For me, he's taking the piss.
Yeah, it was kind of like, come on, like 13 matches unbeaten, 12 matches unbeaten.
You're just there being negative, fam.
Yeah, so Graham, what do you think?
What, on Merson, first of all?
Yeah, Merson and then Emery. Would you blame him if we actually do get pumped in the end?
I don't think it wouldn't matter what formation you would be playing, whether you'd be playing 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. I think you only have to look. We're playing 4-2-3-1 now, and we're giving up chances. Our goalkeepers are making, on average now, 4.5 saves per game, whereas last year under Wenger they were making less than 3 saves per game. Yet Emery is the one who's got us in a more structured approach. So really, we need to understand why that is. Doesn't matter what formation we play, if we're making basic fundamental errors, and that's what we're doing. We're just giving away passes in wrong areas of the pitch, and we've been fortunate in this run that sort of like our conversion rate has been 25%. We've been taking our chances better than any other team in the league. But I think it's only the bottom 3 teams who are giving up more chances than us. So there's something wrong with just making basic errors. Now, he has them drilled on the training ground, I'm led to believe, but they're still making these errors. And why? And I noticed, you know, his coaches, staff are out on the pitch, as Lee said. Lee made this point to me, actually, so I shamelessly stole it off you, Lee.
That's right, you're more than welcome.
They're telling the players what to do, but the players are not doing it.
Yeah. So
is that something that's come from the Arsene Wenger era that they just can't get out of their system?
Yeah.
But the fact is we are giving up too many chances, and I think whether you play a 4-4-2, a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3, you have to do the basics of the game right.
Yeah.
And if they're making errors, We've got away with it against the lesser teams. We won't get away with it against Liverpool.
100%.
And I think, and that's the answer to the question. Merson, I think, obviously exaggerating into sort of talk sport mentality.
Yeah.
Fulham have conceded something like 17 more goals than us, so let's get it right. But if you look at Liverpool, they've only conceded 4 or 5 goals in the league this year. They've spent money on their defence.
Yeah.
And the one thing that concerns me is that they have massively invested in their defence. They always had the quality going forward. Now they've added the structure at the back.
Yeah.
We haven't yet got to that stage, and I think we have to recognise we are still a work in progress, and he's going to need a couple of transfer windows to maybe get in that quality centre half, or to beef up the areas of the pitch to give us more solidity. But in answer to your question, I think we just got to get the fundamentals of the game right on Saturday. We just got to make less mistakes. The players have got to have the belief. They will take massive belief out of beating Liverpool.
Definitely.
But just don't lose the game.
We all will.
Don't lose the game. And Lee's made a fair point. But I think if we avoid defeat, I think that's the most... Because if you're beating all the other teams around you, that's the key. It's sort of like lower down the league, that gets you close to the top 4. Then you've just got to make sure you don't lose to the top 4 clubs.
So sticking with you, Graham, prediction this Saturday.
3-0 Liverpool. No, I'm joking. I think it'll be...
4-0.
No, I mean, we've got to be realistic as Arsenal fans. And I think that, I think Liverpool are a step ahead of us at the moment, and they are favourites to win this game, I have to say. And that's just being honest. But you know what? I've just got this belief that if people get into that stadium earlier, we can recreate that atmosphere we created against Tottenham Hotspur last year. And I remember it. The atmosphere was unbelievable. The place was rocking before kick-off. We took that into the game. It lifted the players. We were like that 12th man. So the fans on Saturday, my message is get there early, get this stadium roused and get this stadium rocking and get behind the players 100%. That will give the players belief, and those players need to take that onto the pitch. And if they do get that result on Saturday, that really will give us tremendous belief. But
Definitely.
I think the key is certainly to avoid defeat, but we need to make sure that we get the fundamentals of the game right, that we sort of like address Liverpool's weaknesses and just put them on the back foot. Just get them into the areas of the pitch they don't want to be, push them back.
Yeah.
If we can do that, I think we've got a chance.
Just shock them
so
a bit.
in other words, what do I think? It's a 50-50 call. I've got this funny feeling it's going to be a high-scoring draw like it was last year.
So what?
So
2-2.
I'll go 2-2.
2-2. Troopz?
3-2 Arsenal.
Yeah? How do you see the game going? Us taking lead, them taking the lead?
1-1,
Half
then 3-1, then 3-2.
Okay. Confident, yeah. Lee?
I wasn't that impressed with Liverpool against Huddersfield.
Look, Huddersfield should have nicked
I'm
it,
going
man.
to say this, you know what I mean? I watched Man City, and anybody think this is the best team I've ever seen in the world on Monday night. You know, these teams are beatable. In saying that, 2-2.
Turkish, one other thing to say, it's under lights. It's under lights, 5:30 kickoff. Under lights, that atmosphere.
We are at home,
under-
aren't we? We are at home.
Yeah, so
I just think that we're not quite at it defensively. I think that we'll do some damage to them. I really do.
Yeah.
But
There's going to be goals in it, Lee.
Yeah, I feel there'll be goals. I'll be very surprised if it's 0-0. But I just think that a little bit like I think that we'd be leading going into the lot, and I just think that maybe that they're nick one. But I'm going to change. You've made me change my mind.
So what are you going with?
3-2, man.
I'm going to go 2-1. I think we nick it 2-1 there.
2-1, yeah?
Yeah.
Got a good mix there. Good
Come on,
mix.
Gaffer!
And the other thing for me, Turkish, just rounding up, is Salah is obviously now coming back into a bit of form. It's a bit of a concern. We've got to keep Salah quiet.
100%.
You know, if this was Mourinho, he would be doing a marking job on Salah, wouldn't he? So I think that, and Emery does look at videos. Emery would have looked and assessed their strengths. Salah is their major weapon. We do need to make sure we keep him quiet.
Definitely. Like, look, this game has come at the right time for me. I think we need a big test now. We've gone 30
Yeah, I think we
matches
need a big
unbeaten.
game. We've had I think that as well. I think you're going to the Emirates lately. It's been a lot of expectation.
Yep.
Everybody just turning up for games. This time now, I think we've all, as fans, we want a big game, don't we?
Yeah,
We want a big
exactly that. And I'm going to go for 3-2, just like you, Troopz. I see it being high scoring, but I feel like we can nick it. Maybe that result's a bit more hopeful than realistic,
Well,
but
fair enough.
I can see it happening. And like you lot said, Liverpool's performances this season hasn't been exhilarating as maybe
They're
City's
doing the
last
job.
season.
They ain't just like, you understand?
Exactly. So we're as much a test for them coming up as they are going to be for
I'm
us.
scared right now.
Yeah,
blood.
because that's
Don't
a
ever
away
get
match.
twisted.
So
I'm
I'm going to
scared.
go for 3-2. But listen, thanks guys for coming down. Thank you, Lee.
No problem.
Thank you, Troopz. Thank you, Graham.
Thanks,
Make
Toby.
sure you lot tune in, subscribe, comment, share, like, do all of that. And let us know what you think is going to happen this Saturday. Put your predictions in the comments below.
Hi, how you doing, everybody? This is Ian Wright. Don't forget to check out my new YouTube channel. The link is in the description. Check it out, man. It's gonna be.
Yo, what are you doing, man?
I'm sorry, Rob. I had to touch the holy grail mic, bro.
No, you can't do that, bro. What are you doing? You can't.
Like a rascal like that, bro.
Don't forget to check out Ian Wright's brand new YouTube channel. The link is in the description. It's going to be brilliant.